Good afternoon, I'm Sam Layden and welcome to skedLIVE. President Donald J. Trump has signed an executive order today to advance construction for the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines. The two lines were postponed late last year under the Obama administration, but after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau asked for approval of the Keystone XL yesterday, President Trump plans to streamline the process. Protesters who contested the Dakota Access pipeline just weeks ago have been formally asked to leave by the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. The decision came after a unanimous vote held by City Council on Friday, and the tribal government has been encouraging people to leave since the federal government agreed on an environmental review of the project last December. After 40 people were arrested in the past 2 weeks, the tribe is worried that more confrontations may impede the environmental review process. 200,000 liters of oil have spilled into the Aboriginal community of Ocean Man in Saskatchewan. The provincial government was notified of the spill last Friday and has since reported 170,000 liters of oil being recovered. It is unknown which company owns the pipeline responsible, but Tundra Energy Marketing Inc. is heading the cleanup efforts. And now to Daniel for your business and technology news.
I'm Daniel, and this is your business and technology news. Mexico's economy minister says his country will consider pulling out of the North American Free Trade Agreement if upcoming negotiations do not benefit them. Ildefonso Guajardo told a Mexican television network that it would not make sense to stay. United States President Donald Trump says he will withdraw from NAFTA if it does not benefit America. Trump has already pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. NAFTA was negotiated by former U.S. President Bill Clinton in 1994. North American markets are taking a hit in reaction to Donald Trump's ascension to the presidency. The markets are reacting unfavorably due to Trump's unpredictability, which investors are having a hard time dealing with. CMC's chief strategist, Colin Zazinski, also blames trade disputes. Nevertheless, Wall Street may get benefits from the Trump administration. The U.S. president has promised to slash regulation and lower the corporate tax rate. Zazinski says the benefits will take at least a year to have a noticeable effect. Net neutrality is at risk. Donald Trump's pick to head the Federal Communications Commission is Ajit Pai, an FCC staffer. He favors the removal of many of the Obama administration's regulation. Pai says he will take a weed whacker to them. He says deregulation will foster investment, innovation, and job creation. Former FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler warns against getting rid of net neutrality. He says it will slow access to content for web users. Demand for Johnson & Johnson's pharmaceutical products has slowed. That, along with a strong dollar, has lowered the value of their shares and caused them to fail to meet their fourth quarter goal. The share dropped 1.2% in pre-market trading. Sales of Johnson & Johnson's trademark cancer drugs were also lower than estimates. They are facing competition from Pfizer Inc.'s brands, which retail for a lower cost. Getting a tattoo may complicate detection of skin cancer, according to the University of Pittsburgh Medical School. Currently, some tattoo artists ink over telltale signs, which sometimes makes skin cancer harder to detect. Nevertheless, other tattoo artists refuse to ink over such abnormalities, but it is usually for aesthetic purposes. 29% of artist surveys reported that they have spotted abnormalities and suggested the customers seek care from a dermatologist. British Columbia has trashed its old liquor laws. It is now permissible for almost any establishment, from bookstores to salons, to sling suds. That is, as long as their staff receive training. The changes are the results of a 2013 liquor policy review, which came with 73 recommendations to update the law. But residents will have to wait for municipalities to give the okay, as they have the right to bar such changes. Samsung has published a post-mortem on their Note 7 devices, after a high percentage of them caught fire. The problem was with the device's batteries. First, the casing was too small, which led to short-circuiting, and then the second wave had a manufacturing error. Samsung has not backed away from the fiasco. Their executives openly discussed it at a press conference. I'm Daniel Plant, and that's your business news.
Thanks, Daniel. The UK lost a court ruling yesterday for Brexit, which means Prime Minister Theresa May needs to seek approval for Parliament before withdrawing from the European Union. Attorney General Jeremy Wright had this to say on the topic.
course, the government is disappointed with the outcome. But we have the good fortune to live in a country where everyone, every individual, every organisation, even government, is subject to the rule of law. So the government will comply with the judgment of the court and do all that is necessary to implement it. The court has been very clear throughout the hearing of this case that it has not been deciding whether the United Kingdom should or should not leave the European Union. The people of the United Kingdom have already made that decision. And now enacting that decision will be a political matter and not a legal matter.
Prime Minister May continues to stay hopeful as Parliament expressed overwhelming favor of Brexit before the Supreme Court ruling. U.S.-led airstrikes hit 90 boats carrying an unknown amount of ISIS members from Mosul. The boats were being used to move ISIS members from Iraq's east coast to its west coast. A UN spokeswoman says they're receiving numerous reports of civilians affected by the strikes, but the number of casualties have yet to be confirmed. The death toll from the January 18th avalanche near Italy has risen to 16. 13 people are still missing. A helicopter ambulance meant to bring aid crashed into the mountains in the area, killing the 6 people on board. Emergency services workers are still searching for survivors on the ground. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday to reinstate the Mexico City policy. The policy, first implemented by President Reagan, it restricts U.S.-funded non-government organizations, or NGOs, from promoting and performing abortions, meaning federally funded NGOs having anything to do with abortion services will lose that funding. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary has pulled ahead in the very crowded conservative leadership polls. A Forum Research poll of over 1,200 Canadians shows O'Leary as the frontrunner in the race with 27% support. He's recently been compared to President Donald Trump for his appearance on reality TV, his prominent background in business, and the fact that he's never held political office before. And now, on to Rob Lowry for your entertainment news.
It's an exciting day for entertainment news. The Academy of Arts and Science announced in Hollywood this morning this year's Academy Award nominations. La La Land rose to the top with 14 nominations, including Best Picture, tying with Titanic and All About Eve for the most nominations in Oscars history. Nominations also diversified this year, with a record-breaking 6 actors of color being nominated, and Moonlight, Fences, and Hidden Figures nominated for Best Picture. Other nominations include Canadian Ryan Gosling for Best Actor, Gosling's La La Land co-star Emma Stone for Best Actress, and Meryl Streep in the same category as Stone. It's her 20th Oscar nomination, being the most nominated person in the Academy's history. Jimmy Kimmel is set to host the 89th Academy Awards on February 26th. Check out skedline.com for more on the Academy Awards. And more award show news. Stephen Colbert is set to host the 69th Primetime Emmy Awards on CBS, home of the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The Emmys will be the first major award show Colbert will host. Television Academy Chairman and CEO Hayman Washington said, "We are thrilled that Stephen Colbert will be bringing his Emmy-winning comedic talent to hosting this year's Emmy Awards." Colbert has won 9 Emmys with his 9-year run Comedy Central show, The Colbert Report. The show is set to broadcast live at 8 p.m. on September 17th. Yesterday, the name of the next installment of the Star Wars saga was announced. The upcoming film is written and directed by Rian Johnson. According to CBC, Johnson said that The Last Jedi will pick up from the conclusion of The Force Awakens. The late Carrie Fisher reportedly completed scenes from The Last Jedi prior to her death in December. According to industry media, Fisher's character Leia Organa was set to play a larger role in the 8th installment. Star Wars The Last Jedi is set to release on December 15th of this year. Deandra Cortez Way, or famously known as Soulja Boy, was charged for possessing an assault rifle. The 26-year-old American rapper was charged on Monday for possessing an assault rifle and receiving stolen property, following a raid on his Hollywood home in December. According to Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, the rapper was also charged for being in possession of a firearm while on probation. Saturday Night Live writer Katie Rich was suspended from the show after a poorly received tweet about the President Donald Trump's son, 10-year-old Barron. Rich was immediately suspended. An outcry of support followed her tweet, with many calling for a boycott on the show. Rich quickly deleted the tweet and deactivated her account, reactivating it on Monday with a tweet saying she wanted to sincerely apologize for her insensitive tweet. NBC had no comment on the situation. In more SNL news, Canadian singer Alessia Cara is set to play on the Late Night Show. The 20-year-old Brampton native is the latest Canadian musician to take the stage, a roster including Justin Bieber, Drake, The Weeknd, and Shawn Mendes. Cara took to Twitter on Sunday to surprise her fans with the news saying, "Well, surprise, this is happening. My head is spinning." Actress Kristen Stewart is set to host the episode on February 4th. The 2017 Honda NHL All-Star Weekend is coming up, and numerous pop stars are set to perform. On Monday, the National Hockey League announced that Grammy-nominated artist Nick Jonas, girl group Fifth Harmony, and Canadian native Carly Rae Jepsen will join the lineup of performers and special guests. Jepsen will open the festivities Sunday with a rendition of the Canadian national anthem, with Fifth Harmony performing the U.S. anthem. Jonas will take the ice during the second intermission for a live performance. Los Angeles will play host to the All-Star Weekend at the Staples Center from January 26th to the 29th. That's all for your entertainment news for today. I'm Rob Lowry for skedline.com.
Here's what's making news in sports. The Toronto Argonauts have fired their longtime general manager, Jim Barker. Barker had been with the team for 6 years and even helped them win a Grey Cup in 2012. This year, they finished last in the standings with a record of 5 wins and 13 losses. The team has stated that head coach Scott Milanovic, who was hired by Barker, will keep the position. No further changes are being considered at this time. Michael Copeland, the team's president, thanked Barker on behalf of the fans and the organization. After 17 seasons in the CFL, quarterback Henry Burris is saying goodbye. Burris led the Ottawa Red Blacks to their overtime win against the Stampeders in the 2016 Grey Cup. He previously played for Calgary and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's retiring with the 3rd most yards and touchdowns in the CFL history. Toronto Maple Leafs are one step closer to playoffs after taking a big win over the Calgary Flames. The Leafs beat the Flames 4-0 with goals coming from Marner, Hyman, and 2 from Kadri, who rang in his 100th career goal. Young Mitch Marner is leading all rookies in the NHL. Marner has a total of 39 points, 1 point ahead of the Leafs' first draft pick, Austin Matthews. The Toronto Raptors are looking to break their 3-game losing streak tonight against the San Antonio Spurs. They will be down a player as All-Star DeMar DeRozan is out with a sprained ankle. It is expected that he will miss at least 2 games due to the injury. The teams face off tonight at 7 p.m. Russell Westbrook is now the first NBA player to have 5 consecutive triple-doubles. The last time this happened was when Michael Jordan had 7 in 1989. He is getting close to having as many triple-doubles as the NBA combined. The city of Calgary is exploring options for their 2026 Olympic bid. Mayor Naheed Nenshi says there is a lot to do, but a bid is still a possibility, he told Global News. The City Council has until July to decide whether or not they are going to place a bid. Calgary last hosted the Olympics in 1988. For the 3rd straight year, Canada's Milos Raonic is advancing to the quarterfinals at the Australian Open. Raonic will face former champion Rafael Nadal. Raonic is a serious contender to win the tournament. And that's all for your sports news. I'm Alexa Dimitrick.
Thanks, Alexa. A 26-year-old Toronto man has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assault after turning himself into authorities this morning. 3 teenage girls reported being sexually assaulted last Thursday afternoon near Keele and Eglinton, and police released a photo of the man matching their description of him last night. Humber College has finally ruled out a foodborne illness as the cause for more than 200 students getting sick at North Campus. on the weekend. Toronto Public Health confirmed the culprit was norovirus, an extremely contagious bug that usually presents itself in the winter. For more information about the bug and how students are coping, check out Alexa Dimitrich's story on skedline.com. Bird flu has broken out on a turkey farm in North Germany. The country's National Animal Disease Center says it's a new subtype they're calling H5N5. The strain has been spotted in 5 different European countries' wild birds, and France is currently stopping the spread by throwing the diseased birds into asphyxiation chambers. And though Germany is seeing wild birds contract the disease as well, officials are not changing the bird flu risk assessment because no cases have shown H5N5 in humans. And now here's Bernadette Vina with this week's weather.
It is currently cloudy and 1 degree in Toronto. You can expect the mild weather to continue tomorrow with a high of 3 degrees and a chance of showers. There is a high of 4 degrees for Thursday as well, with a chance of snow rain showers. Entering the weekend, on Friday and Saturday, we may get a few flurries with a high of 1 degrees and 0 degrees respectively. Sunday cools off just a touch with a high of 0. That's your 5-day forecast. I'm Bernadette Pina reporting for skedline.com.
Thanks, Bernadette. And from all of us here at Skedline, have an awesome day, and we'll see you next week.